Next we have conditional formatting. In this case we've got energy usage. We want to see what units what buildings are using over 2,000 units. So we just highlight them all, go up to the top, home, conditional formatting, highlight cell rules. In this case it's greater than, but it could be less than, between, equals to, text that contains, but we're going greater than 2,000. As you can see, it highlights 3 buildings use more than 2,000 units, and even this you can change the text and the colors. Just red text, could be light red with dark. Yeah, we'll have that. Press OK, and you can see it highlights it. Good for reporting. People can see exactly which areas you're interested in. And if you want to undo that, just go back to conditional formatting, clear rules from select from entire sheet. That's it. And obviously if you just want it from a specific areas, you can do that with clear rules and then selected cells, so that would just remove it from the ones that are highlighted. Very useful tool. We highlight this again, conditional formatting, top to bottom rules, top 10%. So let's do top 10% on there, which are the highest usage. Press cancel on that so we don't have to highlight it again. You can color them in as well, so you can get an idea of the usages, who's low and who's high. Very practical and useful way of displaying data and finding specific information. Next we're going to add PowerPivot, which is very useful, and I do recommend researching other videos on it because it will allow you to go past the 1 million limit on Excel sheets, but also you will find that it interlinks with things like Oracle, MySQL, and is a very, very powerful and useful tool. But you haven't got it on here, although it already exists. So you click File, Options, Add-ins, Excel add-ins at the bottom here, and we want to go to COM add-ins, click Go, PowerPivot, so we want to click that on, press OK, and you'll see it's appeared here, which it wasn't there before, but I'll cover this in other videos, but it's a very useful one to review, have a look at if you haven't found it before. Next we have freeze panes. As you can see here, we've got some data that scrolls to the right, and we'll lose the information to the locations here when we scroll. In the same way, if we scroll down, we lose the top list of what they actually are. Now all you need to do is come to the first location that you want, which is actually in the location column, because we want to keep this one, which is the physical location of where they are, and we want to keep this top row as well because it breaks down exactly what information we're looking at. Go to the top, click on View, Freeze Panes, then Freeze Panes, which is the top option, and you can find now, if we scroll down, we've got the top row, and if we scroll right, we've got the first column. Very, very useful. There's different ways of doing it, but that's the one you'll probably find the most useful. Next we have Ctrl Arrow. So if you want to move around the sheet, you press arrow like this, it'll take forever. But if you actually hold the control button, then press the arrow, it will take you to the furthest point. Now bear in mind, if there's a gap, like here, you'll see it took us till it got a break, and then simply just press it again, and it'll take you to the bottom of that list. There you go, that's the furthest point. So, and then you do the same, left, doesn't matter what direction it is, it'll take you to the first column, last column, depending which way you're going. So for example, down arrow will take me to the bottom here, which is the last one on the row. Right arrow will take me to the furthest right. Up arrow will take me to the top. Very simple. So control down, control up, control left, control right. Fast, easy, and very useful. Next is 3D reference. As you can see here, we've got a small occupancy page, and we've got January, February, March. So we've got 3 different months here, and we want a total for those 3 months. So what we're going to do is, if you hold the control key, left click and hold the mouse down, drag it across, you can see there's a little piece of paper showing, and it will actually copy the sheet for you. We're going to rename this one total. And one of the things we've got here, there's no title explaining what we're doing. So what we're going to do here is we hold the shift key, click on March, February, January, go to the top here, whoop, insert, and we'll just call it room usage. Let's give it a little title, increase that to 16. Oh, come on, room 16. Okay, we'll click on January now, it's got it, February's got it, March has got it, and total's got it. These figures are still wrong on the total because they're the same as they are on the March sheet still, so we need to change that. So what we do is we go onto total, click auto sum, click on January, click on the first reference for that, which is B3, the same as the point on the same cell as, total. Hold shift, click February and March. As you can see now, the sum is January to March. Press enter, and it's now got that figure in total. It's taken it from January to March. Now we pull the data down and we pull the data across. It's now pulled the data for those 3 months through onto this sheet. Okay, this is a simple projection or forecast. What you have here is sales projections from week 1 to week 12, and as you can see, they're increasing. You want to get an idea of how they're going to grow over the next year or the next 6 months. You can do that very easily by going to the data tab, forecast sheet, which will give you a view of the growth. As you can see, it ends at week 15, but you can increase that with an expectation of growth over a period of time. Simple information, simple graph, can be analyzed in different ways, but quite useful for quick display, making something very visual with information you have. Okay, we're going to use this SUMIFS function. As you can see here, what we're looking for is to find all the sales in January, doesn't matter what the item is. Then in March we want just the sales for widgets. So what we'll do here, the total column here we'll use, you press equals sum, and it should highlight it for us, SUMIFS, that's the one we want. Double click, so it's up here now. It opens the brackets, it's told us the sum range it wants. So the range is the mathematical sum range, so that's what we want there. Then comma, criteria range, which is where it's going to work out what it is we're looking for. In this case it's the month. Comma, and then we're going to give it another criteria, which is the criteria that it's going to search for. So we click on January, then we can close that now, press enter, and as you can see 30, which is basically in January we had sales of widgets, fidgets and digits with a total of 30. So now we're going to do the same, but we want the sales for March. The only item we want is widget, so it's not going to give us everything for March, and it's a very similar setup. So it equals sum if s, click on that, sum range, which is same again, comma, criteria range 1, comma, where it's going to get the criteria from, it's going to get it from here, comma, and now because we're adding widgets we've got to give it another range, so this is the items, comma, and where it's going to use this for a reference of what we're looking for is here. Then close the brackets, press enter, and there was 32 sales of widgets in March. There you go. Now we're going to look at if error. In this case, as you can see, we're doing a little calculation. We'll put it here. How much they got paid divided by the hours gives them the hourly rate. And as you can see here, that Brian didn't work any hours and he wasn't paid anything, and it's confused it because it can't do the division. So what you do is you go up here and change where it says sum to if error. Once you've done that, go over here and it's going to ask what do we want to do with it, what's the value if there is an error. In this case we do comma 0 because it's basically there's been no money generated, so it becomes 0. And as you can see here, the normal functions don't really change. That's still 10. Pull this down, still 10, still 15. But now we go to Brian, it's gone to 0. It just corrects that error, which is often related to it being unable to finish the calculation. The last tip is a very quick and easy one, but you may have overlooked it or not come across it before. It's basically to gather all the data in your sheet. You can left click on the top here to grab it all, or you right click and you can copy it direct, and it takes everything in the sheet. Makes everything so much faster, especially with copying data into other spreadsheets. For example, the data manipulation, removing formula, working for specific data, but make sure you grab everything. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the videos, please like, please subscribe, and please share.